Immerse yourselves in the early 20th century, a time of significant social change and global conflict. A period that witnessed the crumbling of monarchy, the rise of democracy, and the birth of ideologies that would forever shape world politics. The world was caught between the throes of two catastrophic world wars. Nations clashed, bringing destruction and despair on a scale never seen before. The British Empire, once the world's most formidable naval power and largest overseas empire, was in decline. Its influence was waning, and its colonies were yearning for freedom. Simultaneously, across the Atlantic, the United States was on the rise. It was transforming from an isolationist country into a global superpower. Its burgeoning industrial might and economic prosperity were becoming impossible to ignore on the international stage. At the same time, in the East, the Soviet Union was emerging as a powerful entity. Under the banner of communism, it was rapidly industrializing and expanding its influence. The world was being reshaped, and the balance of power was shifting. In this turbulent era, the importance of strong leadership was paramount. It was a time when leaders could not afford to be indecisive or weak-willed. Bold decisions needed to be made, and fast. Leaders had to be flexible yet firm, innovative yet grounded, and above all, they needed to possess an unwavering determination to guide their nations through the storm. In the midst of this chaos, emerged a leader of unwavering determination and tenacity, Sir Winston Churchill. Known as the British Bulldog for his relentless spirit and decisive leadership style, Churchill's influence would not only shape the course of the war, but also leave an indelible mark on world history. Born into the aristocratic family of the Dukes of Marlborough, Churchill's journey to greatness was far from straightforward. Born on November 30th, 1874, Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was the eldest son of Lord Randolph Churchill, a prominent politician, and Lady Jenny Churchill, an American heiress. But despite his privileged background, young Winston faced many challenges. He struggled academically, bouncing between schools due to his rebellious nature and lackluster grades. His salvation lay in the military. He joined the British Army in 1893, where he served with distinction in several overseas campaigns. His time in the military was a crucible, forging a deep understanding of warfare that would serve him well in the years to come. While still in the military, Churchill began his foray into writing. As a war correspondent, he reported from the front lines of conflicts in Cuba, India, Sudan, and South Africa. His descriptive and captivating accounts of battles and military strategies earned him recognition and respect back home. In 1900, Churchill made his first foray into politics. He was elected as a member of Parliament for Oldham, marking the start of his long and storied political career. From the start, he demonstrated a knack for taking bold stances and making unflinching decisions, traits that would become his trademark. His early political career was a roller coaster ride, with multiple party switches and a few failed campaigns. But Churchill was undeterred. He held numerous government posts over the years, including First Lord of the Admiralty, Minister of Munitions, and Secretary of State for War and Air. All these roles further honed his understanding of warfare and leadership. These experiences, his military service, his war correspondence, his political ups and downs, were not merely stepping stones. They were the crucible that shaped Winston Churchill, the man who would lead Britain with unwavering determination through its darkest hours. These experiences laid the foundation for Churchill's bold approach to leadership during the darkest hours of the 20th century. As the clouds of war gathered over Europe, Churchill found himself at the helm of a nation on the brink of disaster. In the face of this looming catastrophe, he stood steadfast, a beacon of resilience and determination. Churchill's audacious decisions during the war were emblematic of his character and leadership style. One of the most pivotal of these was his outright refusal to negotiate with Adolf Hitler. At a time when Britain was under intense pressure, and the easier option may have been to seek a truce, Churchill stood resolute. His belief was unwavering. There could be no peace with a regime so riddled with tyranny and oppression. The same audacity was evident in his iconic Fight on the Beaches speech. Delivered to the House of Commons in June 1940, the speech was a rallying cry for the nation. Churchill didn't sugarcoat the harsh realities of war. Instead, he galvanized the British people with his indomitable spirit. His words, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds," We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender, echoed across the nation, instilling a sense of determination and unity among the British people. The key to Churchill's leadership was not just his unwavering resolve, but his ability to inspire and mobilize the British people. He knew the importance of morale in a time of war and worked tirelessly to maintain it. Through his speeches and actions, he fostered a spirit of defiance and resilience, turning the tide of public opinion and rallying the nation to the cause. Churchill's relentless resolve and indomitable spirit led Britain and her allies to victory, forever etching his name in the annals of history. His leadership during World War II exemplified his tenacity and decisiveness, earning him the moniker of the British Bulldog and cementing his place as one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. Churchill's leadership style was distinctive, characterized by his audacious decisions and inspiring speeches. Let's delve into the key elements that set Churchill apart. First and foremost, his decisiveness. Churchill was not one to dilly-dally when it came to making choices, especially during the war. He had a knack for making swift decisions, often under immense pressure, a trait that became his signature. His decisions, though sometimes controversial, were always firm and resolute, leaving no room for ambiguity. Secondly, resilience was ingrained in Churchill's character. He had the tenacity of a bulldog, refusing to back down even in the face of adversity. This was evident in his never-surrender stance during the Second World War. Despite the dire circumstances, his spirit remained unbowed. He was known to say, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." His resilience not only helped him endure the trials of war, but also galvanized a nation to stand firm. Lastly, we must talk about Churchill's uncanny ability to inspire. He had a way with words that could stir the hearts of millions. His speeches were not just speeches, they were anthems of hope and determination. Whether it was his "We shall fight on the beaches" speech or his "This was their finest hour" address, Churchill's words had the power to rally a nation during its darkest hours. Indeed, these elements of decisiveness, resilience, and inspiration were not just aspects of his leadership style. They were reflections of Churchill's personality. He was a man of great courage and conviction, never afraid to stand his ground. His leadership style was not crafted, but rather it was a natural extension of his character. In essence, Churchill was a leader who led by example. He demonstrated that true leadership requires more than just making decisions. It requires the courage to stick to them, the resilience to withstand the challenges, and the ability to inspire others to follow. Churchill's leadership style was a reflection of his character, bold, tenacious, and unyielding. Churchill's legacy continues to resonate, providing valuable lessons in leadership and resilience. As we've journeyed through this exploration of his life and leadership, we've witnessed the tenacity and decisiveness that earned him the nickname, the British Bulldog. From his early political career, Churchill demonstrated an unwavering commitment to his beliefs and principles. His courage and determination were evident in his handling of political challenges, setting the foundation for his future leadership during one of the world's most tumultuous periods. His leadership during World War II was characterized by a bold, unyielding approach that saw Britain through the darkest days of the conflict. Churchill's decisions during these years were instrumental in shaping the course of history, not just for Britain, but for the world. His speeches, filled with resolve and defiance, rallied the nation and inspired hope during a time of great uncertainty. Churchill's leadership style was not without controversy. However, his unwavering determination and ability to make tough decisions in the face of adversity were defining characteristics of his leadership. These qualities, combined with his tenacity and decisiveness, were instrumental in navigating Britain through the challenges of war. In examining the impact of Churchill's decisions, we can see how his leadership influenced the course of history. His strategic decisions during the war, his post-war vision for peace and unity, and his lasting legacy as a stalwart leader all underscore the profound impact of his leadership. In the words of Churchill himself, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." This tenet encapsulates the essence of Churchill's leadership style, a beacon of determination and resilience in the face of adversity. As we reflect on his life and legacy, we are reminded of the enduring power of unwavering determination and the courage to persist, even in the toughest of times.